The great, powerful Christopher Hitchens was a huge figure in the new atheist movement that cropped up in the 2000s, 2008, 2009, 2010. So I was surprised when he came back from the dead, to pwn yours truly. Check it out.
My dear readers, listeners, and of course, friends. Picture this, if you will. A man sitting alone in a room, staring into the unblinking eye of a camera, his face illuminated by the sickly glow of a computer screen.
That's not true. I have a light right there. I have a light right there. I have a light right there. There's lights on all sides of me. It's not just the sickly glow of the computer screen. Expecting better from you, Hitch.
This is no ordinary man, no mere mortal content to live out his days in quiet obscurity. No, this is a man with a mission, a man with a message, a man who has taken it upon himself to be the voice of reason in a world gone mad. This is the amazing atheist. Now I know what you're thinking. Amazing atheist? Surely you jest, Hitchens. Surely you of all people cannot abide such a moniker, such a self-aggrandizing title, such a naked attempt to claim the mantle of intellectual superiority. And you would be right, of course. The very...
You know, the name Amazing Atheist was never meant to be like a... It was just meant to sound like... I wanted it to sound like a magician. Like, the Amazing Atheist. I was never trying to be... If I wanted to sound like super intellectual, I would have chosen something way more obscure. You know? It would have been like Hegelian thoughts or some shit, right?
The idea of an amazing atheist is a contradiction in terms like a magnificent cockroach or a brilliant pustule. Atheism, after all, is...
It's kind of weird that he would compare atheism to cockroaches and pustules, considering he was like an avowed atheist. But okay.
Not some great feat of mental gymnastics, some Herculean task that requires a prodigious intellect and a Promethean will. No, atheism...
I agree with that. I mean, like, being an atheist should be kind of like no shit. Of course, atheism makes more sense than believing in Bronze Age myths. So I never really tried to signal that being an atheist is some sort of like Promethean act of courage or something. To me, it's like, no duh, you should be a atheist. Hey, if you like this clip, you might like the full stream, which I do every Sunday, more or less, over on the Pessimist Productions Patreon, link down below. Thank you kindly.
Is simply the default position of any thinking person.
True.
The natural conclusion of anyone who has managed to shed the shackles of superstition and embrace the cold, hard light of reason.
True.
But let us not be too hasty in our judgment of this so-called amazing atheist. Let us instead take a closer look at the man behind the mask, the mind behind the moniker, the soul, if such a thing exists, behind the shtick. What do we find when we peer into the depths of the amazing atheist's oeuvre? What great truths, what profound insights, what earth-shattering revelations await us in the vast repository of his video library? Surely a man who has taken it upon himself to be the standard-bearer of atheism, the champion of free thought, the emperor of unbelief.
Ooh, I like that. Maybe a rebrand is in order. I am no longer the amazing atheist. I am now the emperor of unbelief.
Must have something of value to offer the world. Some nugget of wisdom that will make us all sit up and take notice. Alas,
you act as if the populace would even take notice of a nugget of wisdom. If a nugget of wisdom ever did spew out of my fucking mouth, I'd probably be more hated for it than for anything else.
Dear reader, I fear we will be sorely disappointed. For what do we find when we plumb the depths of the amazing atheist's work? What
work? I like how the AI even managed to make the word work sound sarcastic.
Great thoughts, what incisive analyses, what biting critiques of the religious mindset do we uncover? I'll tell you what we find. a cesspool of adolescent posturing, a morass of pseudo-intellectual wankery, a fetid swamp of half-baked ideas and sophomoric attempts at edgy humor.
I mean, when he's right, right? I mean, like, I want to be like, nuh-uh, but that's, yeah, you know, what can you really say? He's right. AI Hitchens is right.
This is a man who seems to think that the height of wit is to make a crude joke about a religious figure, that the pinnacle of intellectual discourse is to engage in a shouting match with a creationist, that the ultimate goal of the atheist movement...
See, I've never really engaged in a shouting match with... Have I ever done that? Have I ever engaged in a shouting match with a creationist? I'm pretty sure Hitch did that more than I ever did. I think I've done that about 0 times. Maybe 2. I don't know. I can't recall an instance, but my memory is garbage, so...
movement is to see who can be the most obnoxious, the
You've shouted at recordings of them. That's true.
most abrasive, the most insufferable prick in the room. This is a man who
I do strive to be the most insufferable prick in the room. But then again, so did Hitchens, so that's a weird criticism coming from him. Well, his AI ghost.
mistakes volume for substance, who confuses insults with arguments, who believes that the key to changing hearts and minds is to scream louder and longer than anyone else. But perhaps I'm being too...
I don't know, I feel like the screamy era of Amazing Atheist is not really in full swing anymore. Maybe I should go back to that. Maybe I should take the reverse message from this and go back to that Amazing Atheist. Because I've tried to be a little bit more, you know, calm in my disposition. But maybe it is time to just start screaming obscenities at the top of my lungs again, you know? Yeah, my vocal cords are too old now. I need to start I need to start practicing with those things. You know, I can always do that pseudo yell, you know, like keep it around this volume here and just like kind of put more disgust in my voice. These religious hucksters are a bunch of goddamned imbeciles. I can't believe anyone would listen to this fucking garbage. You're a moron. I don't know. Maybe I can keep that up.
too harsh. Perhaps I'm judging the Amazing Atheist too quickly, too harshly.
The Hitch. I thought we were tight, bro.
Too uncharitably. After all, the man has managed to amass a following, a legion of loyal viewers who hang on his...
I don't know if it's a legion at this point. At this point, I think it's fucking dwindled down to like a battalion. But hey, you know, whatever.
Every word, who treat his every utterance as gospel, if you'll pardon the expression. Surely there must be something to his appeal, some quality that sets him apart from the rest of the godless rabble, some secret ingredient that makes him so amazing. Or perhaps not. Perhaps the Amazing Atheist's success has less to do with his intellect or his insight than with his ability to tap into a certain strain of adolescent male anger, a certain type of disaffected young man who feels alienated from society, who sees religion as an easy target, who craves the validation and the attention that comes from being part of a movement, even if that movement is little more than a glorified circle jerk. You see, the Amazing Atheist is not really interested in advancing the cause of reason or promoting the values of secular humanism. He is interested in one thing and one thing only, himself. He is the quintessential attention whore.
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. No. I mean, no. I don't know. Got him. Got him. I don't know what to say. I'm being dunked on by this AI, dude. Check and mate. Fuck.
The kind of person who will say or do anything to get a rise out of people, who thrives on controversy and conflict, who mistakes notoriety for importance. And that, ultimately, is the tragedy of the Amazing Atheist. He could have been something more, something better, something truly amazing. He could have used his platform, his influence, his undeniable charisma to make a real difference in the world, to challenge people's assumptions, to broaden their horizons, to inspire them to think more deeply and critically about the big questions of life. Instead, he has chosen to be a clown, a jester, a court fool for the internet age. He has chosen to pander to the lowest common denominator, to appeal to the basest instincts of his audience.
Yeah. You guys, I mean, hey, he's poning me, but he's poning you too. He's saying, you guys are the lowest common fucking denominator of dog shit, basically. You guys are a bunch of disaffected adolescent male fucking pieces of shit out there. Even though I do see, I count a lot of fucking women in this audience, but hey, whatever. Adolescent male rage.
To wallow in the muck of his own ego and call it a revolution. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's more to the amazing atheist than meets the eye.
No.
Maybe beneath the bluster and the bravado, behind the posturing and the performance art, there lies a genuine intellect, a searching soul, a man who is grappling with the same existential questions that have haunted humanity since the dawn of time. Maybe, just maybe, the amazing atheist is not a lost cause, not a hopeless case, not a cautionary tale of what happens when atheism meets narcissism. Maybe he's a work in progress.
I mean, I think everyone should be a work in progress. I try to be a work in progress. I don't know how much progress I've actually made, but I've tried, damn it. God damn it, I've tried.
A diamond in the rough. A man who is still figuring out what he believes and why he believes it. Or maybe not. Maybe the amazing atheist is exactly what he appears to be. A shallow, self-absorbed, intellectually stunted man-child who has mistaken his own ego for the voice of reason. Maybe he is a walking, talking embodiment of everything that is wrong with the new atheist movement. A cautionary tale of what happens when skepticism becomes dogma, when free thought becomes groupthink, when reason becomes just another tribal marker.
Got him. I don't know what else to say. Got him. I'd hate to be that amazing atheist fuck right about now. It's pretty cool that this AI, Christopher Hitchens, is so fucking close to the real thing. I feel like you need a little bit more smarm and bravado in the delivery. But I feel like in terms of exactly the way that Hitchens would have torn me down, I feel like the writing, the dialogue of this AI is it's not pitch perfect, but it's fucking real damn close. Yeah, I think the ending needed a little bit more oomph to it. I think that the real Hitchens would have delivered that with far more drama and far more passion. I also feel like there's certain things that the AI Hitchens attacked me on that the real Hitchens wouldn't have. I don't think the real Hitchens would have ever attacked bluster and bravado and stuff because he was brimming with it. But, overall, though, I feel pretty cool about this. I feel like it's really neat that I got to get hitch slapped by the AI Hitch. It's not quite as good as being hitch slapped by the real Hitch, but it's still pretty fucking cool. I think the real Christopher Hitchens would have done a better job, for sure. But this is way better than that AI George Carlin that they had a few fucking, months back. Remember that? Didn't even sound a fucking thing like Carlin. And, the material it wrote was kind of, some of it was all right, but a lot of it was fucking total dog shit. This, I feel like the material was pretty much good from start to finish. I feel like it needed, a lot of people in the chat said, it needed a stronger, punch. A real haymaker to close it out. But that being said, pretty fucking good. It's more intelligent than pretty much any critic that has ever been an organic human being. I've never heard an actual person that hated me fucking articulate why they hate me as well as that AI just did. So, I gotta give it props. It's my best hater yet.